Hello and welcome to Kuddick Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and we are picking back up here with running the forage harvester here on our headland pass. We're taking 4 headland passes off, I think is where I wanted to be on this farm, and I think we're just going to make it to the end of the field here before we hit 100%, which is going to be awesome. And I've made one small tweak off camera here. After doing some testing, I noticed we had the shorter pipe on our forage harvester here, and so I have extended that. Oh, we're getting caught up. I turned way too fast here at the end row. We got to be careful with these here forage boxes. They get a little bit hung up if you try to turn too tight. And I have also in addition to extending the pipe on the forage harvester, we've turned on the manual gears again. I was having a lot of trouble shifting some of my vehicles in other playthroughs that I've been doing. And so I've got the manual gear shifting on. Man, I cannot get this thing to pull around here to save my life. Let's go ahead. Oops, not drop that off. Let's go ahead and just drop the trailer off here for a second. And I'm going to go grab the tractor. And we're going to run this forage box up to the farm. It's going to take me a couple of minutes to get used to using manual gears again here. We've gotten so used to relying on automatic again. I'd used manual exclusively for a little while back in the day when I first started playing FS22 because I thought it was such a cool feature. And we got out of the habit, and I'd like to get back into the habit now because I think it gives me a lot better control over things when we're monkeying around with some of this different equipment, especially with some of the older equipment. And part of that is because the modders have gone out of their way to try and represent the different transmissions and tractors in an accurate way. And that always leads to some interesting combinations here, but I'd like to try and take advantage of it when we can. And it lets me do things like shift down when we're going up these big hills, and I feel like I can actually generally go a bit faster when we're in control of the gears. The trade-off is that often I will forget to change gears when I should, and then we will be going slower than we need to because I'm out on the road, not going in road gear to get to where I need to be. So hopefully I can knock off some of this rust and get back into the swing of things. Now, one thing I've noticed in our first few passes here is that when I'm using this tractor with the front loader on it, that we need to be careful around the forage harvester because it will try to dump into the bucket. And so I think while we're up at the farm here, it's going to make sense to maybe disconnect this front loader, just drop it off so that we don't have any problems with the forage harvester trying to do things with our bucket. And I think at some point here I should also just get an auto drive course up and running for us. So I think we're going to do that today as well. Let me see, where's a good spot going to be to dump this bucket? I'm wondering if I open this door up, I could dump it right in here, although that's going to block our garage door. So maybe we'll go ahead and open the big door up here. And I'll just put the bucket back in here somewhere. We got so many doors. I'll drop the Meyer box off here. I think what I'm going to do is swing all the way around. Something like this. Probably turn those flashers off. And I'll put the bucket up here against this wall. It's going to be out of the way, I think. Those forks really make it big. I probably didn't even need to put this in the shed at all, but we're going to do it. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this thing all hooked back up now to the forage box and get things moving here. There we are. Now, at some point here, we are going to need to get an auto drive course set up for this. It's going to be kind of a tricky path, I think. And I've also noticed with these forage boxes, the very first time I bring it through, it thinks there's a rear unload, and that's a different configuration for this forage box. And so I need to hit I as if I was going to unload. And then I just need to circle back around, and this next time, this forage box will work for the rest of the time I'm logged in and playing on this save. It's just the first time I come into the game with it. For some reason, I need to do that little step. And so that took me a little bit to figure out. So we're going to go ahead and get this unloading. Now, if I really want to get done with chopping this field in a reasonable amount of time, I'm probably going to need to pick up a second forage box here. And I'm realizing that no matter what kind of a setup we get going with the worker and stuff, having a high side on the forage box like this, while realistic and, you know, I'd probably always hit the forage harvester on that side, in real life, I can't control the farm sim workers here. And so there's going to be times where I'm going to need to drive alongside the forage harvester going the opposite direction. So we should probably remove this high side from this forage wagon. But unfortunately, I leased it, and I can't make a configuration change to it, and I don't really want to pay that leasing cost again. So we are going to, I think, pick up a second forage box here so that one can be driving back here and unloading. As you can see, it's got a, I think this is probably a realistic unloading speed, and this takes a minute to unload. So if I had two going, I could pretty safely, I'm guessing, have one in the field unloading while this one is doing its thing, and then they could just keep going in a loop. And I think we'd be able to keep up with the forage harvester a lot better. So let's go ahead and jump in here and see what that's going to cost us. These boxes aren't cheap, and we're getting the biggest one here that is, oh, that's, I've got two different mods here. We're going to get the biggest one here, the RTX 22 foot. Technically, these straight trailer ones have a little bit bigger of an option. And so part of me is tempted to get this, but I just feel like this is more realistic for with the side dump and the style that I would be using. So I'm going to stick with that, and I don't know what the difference is between the RT and the RTX. Well, I guess the easiest way to figure out which one we have is to just go look at it. Looks like we got an RT, and this one's been working all right. So let's just go ahead and pick up another RT622. And I am going to ditch the crop saving cover here, and we'll keep it as a PTO drive just like the other one, I think. So, wow, $80,000. That's a hefty price tag, so we will be leasing this one as well. I can afford $4,000 a lot better. And this one's already done unloading, so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to start the auto drive course here on our way back up to the field. And this is going to be a one-way course here, so I'm going to start recording. We're going to put a thing in that's called Harvestor. Okay. And that should be far enough forward, hopefully, that things get picked up. Now, of course, I'm leaving my equipment all over the place, so let me move this the 4440 out of the way here a bit. So we've got room to do what we need to do. I'm going to put this all the way over here in the main yard, just because I'm not sure where I'm going to record all the courses for the Harvestor track here. And similarly, I guess let's pull this pickup up just a little bit in case I need to come around that corner tighter than I expect. Hopefully leaving this thing in edit mode and switching to a bunch of other vehicles didn't mess anything up. Oh, it's not recording anymore. And we have messed something up here. Let me pull this up. Why is that a different color? Alright, let's go ahead and delete a few. I'm gonna circle around. We're gonna try and get back hooked up to this again. We've messed everything up by having to jump out and do some things, it looks like. All right, here we go. Record. Oh, why is it going way back there? I just don't understand. Well, we're gonna put this here and keep pulling forward. I'm gonna try and reconnect this so it's got a normal color. There we go. I don't remember what blue means, but we're gonna go with this. And my goal is to get to here. And we're gonna stop recording. What I wanna do is when I'm coming in and out of the yard, I like when I have a two-way course. And so I'm going to come up here a little bit and we're gonna start recording a bi-directional course like so, because all of these roads are really narrow, and so trying to have two different vehicles passing each other on roads like this is going to be tough, especially because we're going to have some wide implements and stuff, and there's a fence and telephone poles and all kinds of different things to run into here on the edges of this dirt roads. And so all the dirt roads, when I record my auto drive courses here on this series, I think we're going to do as 2-lane. And even that, I'm pretty close to stuff like that mailbox, so we'll see how it goes. And here we go. I guess I can bump up the speed. Hopefully there's no cars coming. And away we go. What is this field to my left is field 23. That's going to be important here as we come up with our names for our auto drive stops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go past this a bit with our two-way, just so that it's all nice and straight. And then we're going to try and back this cart up, hopefully without too much grief. As long as I don't turn too much, I can usually control these pretty good. Believe it or not, back in the day, I used to be able to back up these kinds of trailers quite frequently. Not the smoothest, but also not too bad. I'm purposefully angling because we're gonna come over here and grab this point. Now, do I want to just do a two-way into the field here as well? Is kind of what I'm wondering. Let's just, I've done it all this way, and now I'm thinking, let's just come in here and do a 2-lane straight on the driveway, and then I can hook everything else up using the mouse controls. So we'll do this 2-lane record. And just like that, we've got our field 23. Stop recording, and we'll get rid of this link. And then here, I want to have a nice curve back onto this road. And what I can do is also have this go this way, and then it's a 2-way path. And similarly here, we're going to grab, I know it's hard to see here, but similarly we're going to grab from here and come up here and, whoops, what are we doing? I don't know why it's going all janky on me there. Maybe I'm just too far away. Let's cancel that. All right, we don't need to worry about going the other way just yet. We're pretty much always going to be taking things back up to the farm, I think. And so I haven't finished this course, obviously, but we'll finish the setup going the other way as we go back. I'm trying to do things in bits and pieces here so that we can kind of keep harvesting and just maximize where we tend to be, so we're not just driving around with an empty cart all day. And I'm going to drop this right here. And we'll pull this tractor up out of the way. I have no idea where we're going to end up, with doing these headland passes. What I want to do is chop down to the other end and do the headlands down there. However, I'm realizing, you know, I don't know that I want to just go along the long edge of this field. That's not super helpful. I'd rather cut through the middle somewhere, but I do need to do my headlands first. So maybe what we'll do is we will chop down the length of the field first, and that'll put me in a good spot down there to be ready to hit the headlands. And then we can chop our way back up to the field driveway there, like right through the middle of the field. That way, when we do eventually get auto drive working here, hopefully, we'll be able to not have to drive all the way around the outside edges of this field to get to the chopper when it's on the far end. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a GPS line so I'm not janking back and forth the whole way down this field. That'll also make it so when we're ready to come back up in the middle there somewhere, we know we're going to get a straight cut through. And I've been absolutely loving this forage harvester. It's a perfect size for our little farm, but I'm looking at all the corn in this field, and man, is this a big field. Now, oh, we're losing a row here already. Let's see if I can manage to back this thing up and pick up this row. We'll just need to shift our GPS track over ever so slightly. Come on, you can do it, cart. Just stay in there. I'm pretty sure I have crop destruction turned on, so we've got to be a little bit careful here. There we go. All right, let's turn on the lines for a moment here, and I'm going to shift the track this way ever so slightly. There, that's looking a little better. Let's shift a couple more degrees and put it right in between those rows. I think this thing is going to stay on the rows. I'm always too picky about having my headers and such line up with the actual rows. When things in Farm Sim often just don't work out quite that way. That's all right. And I think it's maybe because this is, I don't know, we're on a 90 degree with the tractor. I don't know why I keep losing a row over there. It's like things keep shifting ever so slightly, but from a GPS perspective, I'm going straight. So maybe this field just isn't quite straight. Either way, we're gonna run with this for now. We'll see if we can tweak that course or figure out what's going on when we cut through. I think it'll be more important at that point. Maybe we'll just grab a new GPS track based on heading or something at that point. But now we need to try and clean up some of this headland and do it in such a way that when we are starting to get full, I can leave enough room to get out of here with a tractor. Now I'm already over 50% coming down the length of the field, so I know I'm not going to make it all the way around and back up. We do have quite a bit of grass down here on this end though, so I should be able to get the cart turned around if I'm somewhere in this area. The more I go up by the creek here, the harder it looks like it's going to be, because I do have to make a full U-turn here with the cart when I come to pick it up with the tractor. So I'm kind of looking to see if there's going to be a spot up there to do that or not. I should probably cut out and try and turn around while I've got the forage harvester. These hills are something else. I don't want to turn too tight because I'm going to get hung up like that. Oh, I think I've completely broken this wagon now. I don't think that wheel is supposed to be bent that way. And we're going to just start heading back up this way. Now, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that tire. I hate that Farm Sim has these issues with any of these pieces of equipment where the tires can rotate like this. You end up with tires just all kinds of out of whack here on them, and this has been a problem since FS19, and it just seems to keep happening, and I don't know why there hasn't been a solution to this. It's very frustrating in general, but it's not just like one mod or one modder that has issues with this. It's been all the gravity wagons and such that I've used over the different iterations here that seem to have this problem. And so I'm gonna back this thing up. I mean, I think if I reset it, it will solve the problem, but I really hate having to reset my equipment all the time to fix issues like this. And let's be honest, I'm gonna end up having to back up with these carts at some point. I think what we're gonna do, since we're in an awkward position here with that, is I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, grab this other forage wagon and bring it out there so that we can hopefully keep going on harvesting here. And then I can also use this tractor to hook up to it and bring it back out. And I'm noticing some intense game lag when I'm hooking up to equipment from time to time. I don't know what's going on. Since we haven't got a chance to cut through yet, we're having to take this all the way around the field the long way. So we're just gonna take our time, get putz our way down this field, and hopefully be able to quickly knock off the headlands on the other end of this field. I do want to get cut through as soon as we've got the headlands off down here, though, so that I don't have to keep going all the way around the outside of this field. Now, I don't know if I left myself enough room to grab that cart or not. Let's see. Yeah, I should be able to do this. I'm going to swing this one around like so and drop it right back here, and then I'm going to try and squeeze in up here and pick up this cart. Should have backed up a little bit farther than we did, I guess. We've got it though, and we're just going to have to, I don't know, yank this thing back up to the farm with a broken axle here, I guess. There is no way that I know of to resolve this without just fully resetting the implement, and I don't know if resetting the implement is going to preserve our chaff or not, so we aren't going to reset this until we get up to the farm. And like I said last time, I do also want to get our auto drive course set up here to go into the harvest store on our next pass in, even with the broken tire here, I suppose. So I'm going to come right over off of this node, I think, and we're going to record a directional course, because I always want to make sure this thing is going through the harvest store in the correct direction. And we're going to swing through here. And at some point, we may need to fill out of this, so I'm going to try and make sure we go under the spout. I don't want to get too close here. And just like that, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to hit I to start unloading my chaff, and while that's going, we're going to come on over here and just finish connecting this part of the course together. Should be good to go. And while that's going, we might as well head down here and get the old John Deere hooked up and running on this other chopper box. We've got a amazingly speedy backup speed of 3-4 miles an hour here. We're not winning any races, that's for sure. But we've got a box, which means we can do some chopping. So I'm going to go ahead and take this corner around the curve. Although, in hindsight, that means I'm going to have to probably go up this long row again, because we just don't have that much room to turn around here, and I don't want to risk breaking another chopper box Let's see if we can pull this off here. Let me see. Got to get started on the right foot. I don't want to get too close to the corn. If I can just manage to get it straight back into that grass without jackknifing it, then I can get the forage harvester swung around and back into our row. All right, let's see if we can pull this off. Here we go. All right, well, that was maybe not as smooth as I had hoped, but we are on the go now. We're gonna try and actually take this around the other way and do as much of the headland here on all these curvy bits as we can. I think we're gonna try and make it all the way around the field here, perhaps. So I'm going to follow this up around the creek in that far end of the field and see what that side of the field looks like. We haven't been over there yet at all, and honestly, just looking at it from here, it looks quite curvy, curvier than I was expecting. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out. I'm not thinking there's going to be a lot of room to turn around on that side either, and so my hope is that since we're only 30% full here, I can get all the way up to the road, to the headland passes we've already done, and turn around up there before we get full. But we'll see, we'll see. At least there's a decent amount of grass over here. I might be able to run alongside the grass with a tractor and wagon if I need to get out of here. If I come in at this thing from behind, then I can drop the wagon in the right way and take off with the next one. But I don't know, I'm looking at that corner up there, and this bank looks steep. I don't know if I want to drive a tractor in a forage box that close to that steep of an embankment. We may end up getting stuck, and quite honestly, I don't know that our older tractors here have the oomph to get themselves out of a ditch like that. That could end up being a whole episode in and of itself, trying to get equipment out of a huge ditch like this. We're at 57% and starting to come around the curve here, but there is a lot of curve back here. I did not realize that this field was so irregularly shaped, I guess, off of the top of my head. And we're close enough now. I left auto drive in edit mode. I'm going to turn that off so we don't have annoying lines on the screen. But we are coming back up towards that end of the field, apparently, which is good. We're at 68%. I'm feeling nervous we're not going to get all the way back up there, but I guess we've got this big grass area here. But again, another steep area right before it, so I'm wondering if when we do tillage on this field, if there's some areas like that little spot there we could pick up and have a little bit more land, since I don't know if it's really doing us any good as a headland. We could get just a little bit closer to the edge of this cliff. That may also be a huge mistake if we get too close, and courseplay and other things have a tendency to fall into crevices like that. I'm actually, now that I say that, really wondering how well courseplay and such is going to work on some of these fields. We'll have to be careful to do sufficient headlands so that courseplay doesn't have to get anywhere near the edges. And would you look at that, 98%. We couldn't have asked for a more perfect wrap up to that headland pass. I am going to just go for the full 100%. We'll take a few more feet of this and just top off this cart. There we go. Shut everything down, back it up a little bit. Well, we're on kind of a hill, not the best spot to unload a wagon like this, so we'll pull it around onto the headland. Whoa. The hills on this map are not a joke. There we go. I'm gonna pull this right up here on top where it's a little bit flatter, I think. This will be a much better spot for us to swap things out. There we go. And I think we're almost to a point where I could rely on auto drive to do some things here. So let's see if I can, at a minimum, ask this thing to get back out to field 23. Looks like that's gonna work without a problem. And while that guy's driving out here, I might as well grab the 7810. We're gonna run this up here and get hooked up to our other wagon here. And that's gonna let us send that back up to the farm. Now, the only major problem with these 2-lane paths like this is that I can't be going both directions at the same time. So we might run into a little bit of problems where one vehicle is heading this way already and the other one's trying to get out, and we get some traffic problems. I didn't really think about that one as much. So it might have been in our best interest to actually create 2 separate 2-lane roads on the sides. We'll have to think about that. Now, oh, I forgot about this wagon. That poor chopper box. Look at it. It's just, it's destroyed. All right, hang on here. We're going to go ahead and stop this. I'm going to have to reset this. Apparently, I can't reset leased vehicles. Hang on, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, none of my leased vehicles are showing up on the map here. Well, I shouldn't say that. None of my leased implements are showing up on the map for some reason right now. I can definitely see some of the other equipment that we've got out and about. But right here in this spot, I see the tractor I'm driving. Maybe if I got out of it, I'd see it. Let's move away from it a little bit here. I see the tractor, but I don't see an implement behind it. Yeah. Man, those Meyer forage boxes aren't showing up on the map at all. Well, that's doubly unfortunate because I can't keep driving it around like this. I wonder if this is the kind of thing that's going to fix itself if I exit and rejoin the game? I'm not sure. Well, I can't keep driving that, so I'm going to park it, and we're going to take this one and send it up to the farm here. So let's see if I can actually manage to find an appropriate course. Pick up and deliver. So I'm going to do the unload combine mode at field 23 and then dump at harvest store, because in theory that's what we're going to be doing when we get back with this. And if I just put this here, I should be able to start it off because I'm full, and it'll go back up and empty. It's complaining that there's no harvester with that target at the moment. That's fine, I know that. We come in here, we're going to be able to just set this target, and then that way it'll be the target for the guy coming back. But since I don't have a wagon I can use right now, we're going to just man, I don't know what we're gonna do about this. We're gonna let this guy go unload, and I'm gonna say let's wrap up today's episode here. And what we'll do is we'll try and exit the game and come back in. If that fixes it, great. If it doesn't fix it, maybe we'll try and buy the wagon and see if it shows up on the map to be reset or not. I don't know if it's because they're leased or if it's because there's something with these forage boxes that are preventing them from showing up on the mini-map. I guess I have other leased equipment that's showing up on the mini-map, so it's got to be something with the forage boxes themselves is my only guess. I'm not sure yet. So we'll have to do a little bit more testing before next episode, see if we can figure it out, because I'm going to be really sad if we can't use these forage boxes to run our forage here. This is kind of the whole plan here. Everything we're doing right now is built around being able to dump this stuff into the harvest stores like this. I guess our alternative could be to swap these out for the straight axle versions of these carts. We'll have a lot less issues like this with the axles breaking and stuff if they don't have axles. I don't know. So hopefully you've enjoyed our episode here today. We've gotten this field mostly opened up now. I grossly underestimated how much time we're going to spend chopping, so that's why we're going to hook up the automation here and get everything going. Looks like we're off to a good start on that, and next time we'll see how well AutoDrive is at handling harvesting in these fields. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, helps me out a lot. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. That's all for today. Kedrick, out.